Welcome back, everyone. Sheepdog Smokey here. I'm going to change things up. I've noticed I've gotten kind of stuck in a rut, but I've noticed a pattern that I seem to be going the opposite of. So we're going to see how this works. But before we begin, make sure you remember to like and subscribe and turn on notifications so that you're among the first to know of all content as it is posted. But let's go on and jump in. We have a Hamas founder now openly admitting that he sends women and children to die when terrorists are retaliated against by Israel. And even with this admission, the media is virtually silent. He admits he, quote, sacrificed the bodies of our women and children, unquote, to force people to think Israel is evil. I've pointed out in other ways in the past that Hamas blatantly manipulates the media. There was an attack some years ago where the only thing on the media was video of a hospital in Palestine where women and children and other bodies were being taken out on stretchers. But even then, I could see something odd. And granted, I don't have all the technology needed to do all the research and so on, but someone did. And they put it through through the ringer, through testing, and they proved the video of bodies being removed was actually reversed. The bodies were being brought in to make it look like people had been slaughtered by Israel. Now, also notice, every time this happens where you see a school or an orphanage or a hospital or whatever, this is where Hamas or Hezbollah or any of the other terror cells have attacked Israel from. You see, Israel does not preemptively attack. The closest you can get to this is when they go into the tunnels that go under their wall and stop terrorists from using these tunnels. That could, on a vague technicality, be called preemptive, but the tunnels are there, having been dug, so even then they are responding to a threat that has not been used yet by closing off that avenue of attack. But with this is when terrorists purposefully target schools, orphanages, synagogues, civilian homes. And when Israel responds, the media follows the terrorist narrative that Israel is evil because women and children died. If you lived in, I don't know, Belfast during the height of tension between Catholics and Protestants, and you put all of your children's bedrooms right at the most vulnerable spot of your house, and then went and bombed a church, and when that faction retaliated against your home, you were crying about your daughters and your wife having been murdered by these people, would you even be surprised if someone asked why were they right where a bomber would go? It's very simple. You don't actively put non-combatants in danger. There's an old cartoon or drawing where it shows terrorist forces versus Israeli forces. And with the terrorists, you see women and children between the terrorist and its target. With Israel, you see the woman and the child behind the IDF soldier. And that's a very important thing that the world is going to be forced to wake up to. These terrorists actively use innocent people to inflate casualties when a retaliatory strike is taken against them. Israel just responds to the threats. When asked, yes, they will give you the numbers. But they're not putting hospitals and orphanages and schools and synagogues and civilian homes where Hamas is going to attack. They were already there, and Hamas moved to a position to be able to attack them. Yet the media is silent. We have members of our own Congress railing against Israel for responding to an attack. Let's flip the roles. What would happen if the IDF went out to an area that was not theirs, it was not part of Israel, and attacked? And when those people retaliated, women and children suffered. The media would ignore the Israeli deaths, and they would blame Israel for sparking the retaliation. But when it's terrorists that attack Israel, killing innocents, and Israel responds, it's still Israel's fault. But this is not new. It's been going on since the creation of Israel. You see, way back when Nehemiah was told to build the wall, and Israelis rightly knew that they are going to be attacked. Okay, military conquest is one of the oldest things on the planet. So when Israel, after building the wall and building their city, when they were attacked, they retaliated. Okay, it's just the way the world works. You don't just ignore someone trying to kill you. And before anyone says it, yes, Jesus did say turn the other cheek. But there's only so often you can do that. You know, when someone throws eggs at your house, when someone keys your car, when someone puts a sign on the street insulting you and lying about you, you turn the other cheek. When someone actively works to kill you and your family, you respond in a way to protect yourself and your family. And that's very, very simple. Okay? Had that not been the message there, Israel would have been told to completely lay down their arms right then and there. But they weren't. It's just, it's amazing to me the people who can discuss military conflict the world over. And while civilian casualties are always a tragedy, they tend to get it right when we're discussing military conflict that does not involve Israel. But when it comes to Israel responding to terrorists, not an organized army of any country, but terrorists, all of a sudden the media is on the terrorist side. They lead with the lie that Israel somehow stole the land. But you see, in 1947, there was no organized state of Palestine. It was the region. In 1948, the UN, rightly seeing that Nazi Germany and many, many Muslims had conspired to murder as many Jews as possible, the nation of Israel was recreated. And the borders were set. Within days, the mantra of they stole our land and the attacks began. And it's been that way now for 61 years. Yeah. It makes no sense. Actually, I'm sorry, 71 years. It makes no sense other than an agenda in the media, which we know is very prevalent, to force people to obey them and praise them. You see, the media can't stand that when they run with a story, people don't cheer and jump to obey them. But the majority of people see the stories on Israel and they all ask the same question. Wait a minute, who fired first? And it's always the terrorists. But it's the same with every other thing. When you see someone go into a building with a pistol or any other firearm, the instant response is a jump to just give up your guns, give up your guns. And they can't stand that they aren't obeyed. So now we get to the level of a Muslim admitting that women and children are sent to die When Israel responds to a terrorist attack they've already launched, the media is silent. And people wonder why I don't watch the news anymore. I've talked long enough. Let me know what you think. Just remember, keep it civil. We don't learn from argument, only from debate. Again, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, as well as turn on notifications so that you're the first to know of all new content as it is posted. Until next time, everyone have a wonderful day.